Signed on a new firefighter today.
Is it a replacement or?
Yes. He came to us from Northville. We're poaching people from Northville.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
No, he's
Lost enough of them to him.
gonna come on full time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He looks like a baby. He looks like a baby.
They all do. They all do.
Trust me, it gets worse when you get older.
I know. They all do.
Yeah.
So young. Are we looking?
Maybe 3 minutes.
2 minutes left.
Yeah, right there.
1 minute. You count down over there.
Oh, I only got 1 minute on my phone.
5:59.
Dan, are you looking to tell me?
Yeah, 1 minute. That's what I got on my phone. He's looking at the same thing we are.
I have my knockoff Apple Watch. It's not really accurate.
Gotta do something. What you did, Ken?
Okay, I think we can go.
That's it. Showtime.
Okay. This meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are being broadcast live over Van Buren Channel 12 and YouTube. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Kelly.
Here.
Trustee Boyden.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Treasury Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. We'll begin with the executive summary as always, we will pay our regular bills with the consent agenda, which will be our prepaid list and our voucher list, and our meeting minutes. We will then have a legislative update with our newest state representative, Reggie Miller, and then we'll go into new business, which will include discussion on and awarding a contract for waste management for the solid waste services and to direct the staff to begin negotiations with them. There will also be discussion and selection of a fireworks company and hiring a company to do tree service work for the Riggs Park tree removal project that we're trying to do. That's it. Can I get a motion to adopt the current agenda?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as read.
Support.
Okay, we'll get Tricia put there. All right. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Next is the adoption of the consent agenda. Trustee Boynton.
Supervisor, I move that we adopt the consent agenda, which consists of the following. Board meeting minutes of March 21st, prepaid list of March 23rd and March 30th, and the voucher list of April 4th, all of 2023.
Trustee Frazier?
I make
Okay.
a motion.
All right. I have a motion, I have a second. Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is public hearing. We have no public hearing. We now go to correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I have one announcement, and then Treasurer Bud has an announcement, and then we'll go to our state representative. My announcement is basically, we have a tri-community Belleville area museum. We need your help to plan exhibits. We want your input. If you have any suggestions for or would like to be part of developing those exhibits, please contact us. You can even contact the supervisor's office. We'll make sure you get to where you need to go. We're looking for volunteers who are interested in helping to design the exhibits for the Belleville Area Museum. Treasurer Bud?
This is an announcement that it's very sad to have to make, but many years ago, Diane and Terry Schonenbeck were very active in our police department. They trained dogs of all kinds on Hannon Road, and they were very instrumental in why we had a canine unit, because they trained all of our German Shepherds. They were also a part of our police department as officers for a good many years. They did retire, and most recently, they have been in Florida. We just got word that Terry passed away on the 31st. So we'd like to send our condolences to his wife, his son David, and his son Vincent. And if you would join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any announcements? Okay, could I call forward our state representative, Reggie Miller? Reggie Miller has been hard at work now for 4 or 5 months, and
Almost three. Yes.
feels like 4 or 5.
She's wore out.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
All right. Like I need this, huh? For those of you who know me, I'm loud. But anyway, I wanted to come and give you a quick update, and it's so good to be here. I took for granted how much this township does for its residents, plain and simple, and I took all of you for granted as well. You're all amazing. I want to start with that. After election, after being elected, and in between the holidays, Jackson Paul, who I hired as my chief of staff, you might remember Jackson as my campaign manager. He finished his master's degree, and then he started in my office January 11th, and we hit the ground running. We went to as many municipalities that we could reach during the holidays and into January, because we wanted to hear about their concerns and what their needs were, and we met with many elected officials. Next, I had to fill out paperwork as to what committees that I wanted to be on. And you had to hand in a resume, which I haven't done in years. My references had passed away. That's how long it was. One being Ralph Nodwell. That's how far back that was. Also, I had to hand in a CV, curriculum vitae, along with a paragraph as to why I felt I was qualified to be on each one of these boards. So I was appointed to Transportation, the Economic and Development and Small Business Committee, and also Health Policy. And I was made aware that I would be chairing Agriculture. And all of you know that I know nothing about agriculture, but I thought since half my district is rural and farmland, I should know something about it. So it was an honor to be told by the Speaker of the House that I would be chairing Ag. We're in Lansing 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I stay up there at a hotel because we have meetings that go way into the night and we start very early in the morning. Mondays and Fridays, I'm in district. And I have meetings, and I will be having coffee hours here. We have already had a few. We made arrangements with the Downtown Development Authority, Mary, who graciously allowed us to use the office on Fridays to hold in-person meetings, and that includes Senator Darren Camilleri. To date, now keep in mind this is from January 11th through March 24th, we've held 178 meetings. we've attended 13 events, had 2 coffee hours, and 1 town hall. We're having another town hall coming up. My last coffee hour was in Dundee at Cool Beans at the time of 11 a.m. The next day, it was hit by a tornado, and that building is now closed, and they're seeing if it can ever be repaired. There's a crack in it. Let's see. We're in Milan with Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and State Senator Irwin on April 21st at 5 p.m. at the Morning Owl. And now that we're settled, we'd like to have 2 to 3 coffee hours a month and quarterly town hall meetings. To date, our office has resolved 23 unemployment issues, 4 new pending. I also have a constituent services director. His name is Finley Arnett. Some things I wanted to talk about. We secured $11.8 million for the Van Buren-Denton Bridge and also the Iron Bell Trail. Initially, it was $7 million that I went asking for. Kevin told me it was 4 to 7. And then after the town hall, we all met that following Friday, sat down with architects and engineers, Wayne County officials. It was decided that to repair it was not enough. We needed a complete rebuild, which means raising it, widening it, adding a sidewalk. And they said, Reggie, you're going to have to go get more money. And I went, do you understand? You just don't walk in and ask for it. It isn't like that. So they said, you could do it. So I said, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But I was able to do that. And so we're not to exceed $11.8 million. I do have a letter of commitment also from Joe Tate, Speaker of the House, on that, just in case something were to happen and no one remembers. I didn't want that. Unfortunately,
Get it in
I
writing.
didn't, right, exactly. Next, we dealt with the East Palestine rail disaster along with the train derailment right here in Van Buren Township. The amount of calls and emails that I got was, it was amazing. Also, we worked with not only Debbie Dingell's office, but the governor's office to keep the toxic waste out of our community. Then I went ahead and passed my first House resolution to encourage the U.S. government to increase transparency on notifications standards across the country on how that transportation of that waste gets here, and we need more standards in place, plain and simple. We, meaning myself, Darren, Rep. Dylan Wygella, put out a press release asking then the Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy, known as EGLE now, to formally request an additional public meeting so we can get more comments in. We felt that wasn't being done. So I got a call from EGLE last week. They have granted our request for a tentative meeting date of Thursday, April 13th. It will be held at the Wayne County Community College at 7 p.m. at the Ted Scott location. Also, the public comment period has been extended to May 3rd, and if you want information on how to submit questions for that, see me afterwards. Next, we had power storms, or power outages, and 2 ice storms. So I started getting calls once the power went out from individuals who were nursing mothers and people that had COVID and real cases of need. It was awful, and I escalated as much as I could for those individuals once I was contacted. And I worked with the state rep that was assigned to me for DTE. I advocated for also the wastewater treatment plant that was running on a generator in Milan, and it was on its last leg. And I advocated to get that fixed quickly because that would have been a catastrophe. That's raw sewage. So there will be further legislation to come that will hold DTE accountable for those power outages. I think there will be new legislation introduced on the $25 fee that they'll give you. It's just a trinket, a token of food that's lost from your refrigerator. That's unacceptable and to be continued. But I will tell you, my rep, who was assigned to me with DTE, was in communication with me the entire 10 days that we had that outage. I advocated with a lot, and Kevin McNamara worked with me on this, advocated for road grading. Our dirt roads were undrivable in certain areas, and that's just unacceptable. So we negotiated to get quickly expedited Hull, Huft, Elwell, and Martinsville Road. So that was a good undertaking that is now resolved. We introduced 7 bills. We've passed 89 bills. We have been in session 22 days, 7 no attendance, no meetings, no voting, but you still have to be there. That was incredible. We broke records with that across the nation. It's only been done 4 times in history. So those bills included repealed retirement tax and increased working family tax credit, the 1931 abortion ban, Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, that was also passed. And I want to be clear that discrimination, hate, and bigotry has no home in Michigan here, and we fought really hard on that one. We've co-sponsored Sunshine Week, which includes government transparency legislation. Michigan ranks dead last, and that's got to change, and that time is now. We passed common sense gun legislation with bipartisan support on safe storage. And we're working as hard as we can. They've given us a couple of weeks off of session, but we're still working all in district. And so I thought, why not come here tonight, since I'm not in session, just to give you a brief update of what I've been up to. So going forward, let's see. We will be working on the state's budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And if it's anything like this, this budget here at the township, it's going to take a lot of work. I am having conversations with Meyer representatives right now, since they were in my office and stopped in for a meet and greet, and they said, Reggie, is there anything we can do in your district? And I was like, yeah. They said, what? I said, well, we have this garbage issue with trash blowing around. So to be continued on that one. Hopefully we'll get some help there. I am introducing a House bill package for child sexual assault statute of limitations with State Representative Julie Brixey that will look at both criminal and civil accounts. Specific language is to come, and I just wanted to thank you all so much for listening to me. It's been an incredible almost 3 months coming up. April 11th, we'll be here before you know it. But so how am I doing so far? Okay?
Doing great.
Thank you. I'm tired, but it's a good
Fantastic.
tired. It's a good tired.
Does anybody have any questions for the representative?
Keep up the good work.
I'll hand out cards. If anyone wants to get a hold of me, please do. And it was so nice seeing your family up in Lansing at the Capitol.
Thank you for meeting
Oh,
with them.
absolutely.
My daughter's still talking about going up there and getting a chance to meet with you.
It was wonderful to see them. Thank you,
Thank
Trustee.
you. We were in pretty dire straits there with that bridge. And we were going to be in trouble there. And that was very timely of you to get that money. Thank you.
Said, I need help, Reggie.
Yeah,
And I said,
yeah,
okay,
that's
what?
good.
What can we do? So that's what we should be doing, helping each other and being stronger for it. So it's so good to see all of you. I've missed you all very much.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to say during this time? No? Okay, moving on to public comment. We're into the public comment regarding anything that's on the agenda for today. Come on forward. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Boy, I was running. Traffic is wonderful these days. 75, wow, isn't that great?
Yeah.
Anyway, my name's Paul Ruthenberg. I'm with Priority Waste. I just wanted to stop by and thank the township for a fantastic bid. Ron and his team were concise. They answered every question right away. It was really a nice process. And I wanted to congratulate you on your choice of waste management. I see Chantel's over there, so have a good day, a good evening, and good
well.
luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak at this time? No? Okay, we're going to move forward then. Unfinished business we have now, we're into the new business. Can I get a motion and read out the discussion on to consider approval of awarding a bid for solid waste services? Anybody want that? Trustee Martin.
Approve the bid for solid waste to Waste Management and direct staff to enter contract negotiations and bring back a contract to the Township Board for consideration.
Trustee Frazier. Director Akers.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Before you tonight is a request to award the bid for solid waste collection services to Waste Management, and as indicated, direct staff to enter into contract negotiations and bring that contract back before the Board for consideration. To give an overview, in late January, the Township put out an RFP for qualified solid waste companies to provide collection service for curbside residential solid waste in the Township. We conducted a bid opening on March 6th where we received proposals from 4 qualified companies. These proposals were evaluated, and we're recommending that the bid be awarded to Waste Management. During the summary, we'll talk a little bit about the proposal, our public engagement process, how the proposals were evaluated, and what our next steps are moving forward. The proposal included items which are typical of an RFP. Specifically, it included a scope of service and price submittal sheets. We did request a variety of items in those price sheets, including household rates for trash recycling and yard waste services. Our current level of solid waste service includes weekly trash service, weekly recycling, and weekly yard waste. So based on this feedback we received from our community survey and concerns Township staff has received over the years, we requested making a few changes to our service level. We discussed these in the presentation before. They were the inclusion of a consistent number of bulky or white good items, which can be collected curbside, the full deployment of carts for recycling, and the extension of the yard waste season from November 30th until the end of the second full week in December. We did request an optional pricing on every other week recycling service in an effort to consider the option to reduce overall cost, but due to the feedback we've received as part of our public engagement process, and the minor cost savings that were in the submitted pricing, we're not going to be recommending this change moving forward. So regarding the public engagement process we took with this bid, the Township conducted one large informational meeting on March 13th where we had about 25 to 30 residents show up and listen to us and discuss the proposal. And we also held 4 evening office hour sessions to allow our residents to discuss the program changes with us. Overall, the feedback that we've received has been productive, with the most common concerns that we received from our residents were revolving around having to pay for trash service. Many of the comments and questions we received were documented and written down and are addressed in the FAQ document, which was attached to the board action and is also on the Township's website under waste and recycling. So regarding the proposal and how we evaluated it, we utilized a subcommittee, which include Township staff, the Township supervisor, clerk, and treasurer to help review the proposals. The proposals were evaluated using a handful of criteria, including pricing, experience and ability, technology and equipment, and the submitted recyclables revenue sharing formula. The criteria were assigned weights based on their level of importance, and were ranked from 4 to 1, with 4 being the highest scoring proposal in each category. The result of the evaluation was Waste Management having the highest overall score. The request before the board is to award the bid and direct the administration to negotiate a contract and bring it back before the board for consideration. There was a model contract which was put in the RFP, and the proposals all required the submitter to review and provide feedback on that contract. So we already have a head start on it. Our goal, if the bid is awarded this evening, is to have a contract before the Township Board in May for their consideration. The second component of our solid waste transition will require the Township to change our solid waste collection ordinance to authorize a single hauler for the single-family homes in the Township. This ordinance will also establish the authority for the Township to charge user fees for service and to establish rules and guidelines for the haulers, and some other requirements in addition. A draft ordinance is currently under review by our legal counsel, and it's anticipated that that ordinance should be ready to go before the Township Board at their next meeting in May. We've provided a lot of supporting documentation, which has been attached to the board action. A lot of it's also on the Township website as well, including all 4 proposals. But this concludes my summary of the board action. I'm available to answer any questions the board may have. I also want to introduce Chantal LaForest, who is our representative from Waste Management, and she has indicated she's available to answer any questions of the Township Board as well.
Open for questions.
No,
We've,
I'm happy to have Waste Management and the job that they do for our residents.
If you're watching from home, we had a 1-hour meeting 2 weeks ago on this very same subject, which is why we probably don't have a lot of questions right now. Trustee Martin?
Through the chair. I just want to know if you can give residents some idea of what it, ballpark, or what it may cost monthly.
While we're still working out the specific fee, our estimates are the fee is going to be under $14 per month per household.
Questions? What would that include? That would include,
That would include weekly trash collection, it would include weekly recycling collection, and it would include weekly yard waste collection during yard waste season. So from the first week in April through the end of the second week in December.
pretty much what they have now.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Martin?
Through the chair, one other thing, I know people had concerns about bulk pickup and how that would be handled. Will it be on a, if you have to call and make an appointment, or, to have them pick it up, or will they just put it on the curb and they'll come get it, or?
We did have a meeting with Waste Management last week where we discussed how that was going to be addressed. Currently, what Waste Management is going to request is that the resident, if you have a bulk item, that you either contact the township, Jennifer, who works in our Public Services Department, can handle it. And there's also going to be a way that you can request a bulk item collection through Waste Management's website as well. But those will have to be scheduled through Waste Management. But we can always provide assistance as needed.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Clerk, right?
I don't have a question, just a comment. The reason I don't have a question is because I sit on the committee and we talked about this numerous times. I know we had numerous town hall meetings. We had surveys. We answered a lot of questions in the meetings. I thought the process was very thorough. The bid specs the RFP was good. The whole process, I think was excellent. So even though we have the same provider that we've used, I think we have history with that provider, so we know what we're getting. And it's good to see that the history matches up with the price. So in the bid, I've been living in the township almost 30 years, and has been dealing with waste management over those years. I think we've been given great service with this company, and it's great to see that the price was very compatible with other vendors that came in and bid it. So I'm satisfied. That's why I don't have any questions, because I'm pretty satisfied with the transition.
Very good job. I mean, it's just,
And I want to say that you, Matt, Ron, and Larry, you guys did a great job, and they throughout the whole process, and that has a lot to do with it. Okay.
Thank you.
Through the chair. They're a good company, and they've provided our residents with what I consider good service, and that's all we want, is good service and a company that hears our residents' concerns.
okay. We are negotiating. We are not quite there yet. There's just a few little changes that we need to see, but, okay. I have a motion by Trustee Martin. I have support by Trustee Frazier. Do I hear any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Good work.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion on to consider approval of the selection of American Fireworks Company. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Clerk Wright.
get back to that motion.
Okay.
I spoke too soon. Let me see your paper. I like to,
Sorry.
yeah.
Number two.
I'd like to make the motion to consider approval of the selection of American Fireworks Company for this June 25th, 2023 Van Buren Township Fireworks Show. The cost not to exceed $25,000.
Support.
Okay, we've got a motion and support. Director Zanglein?
I'm already here.
Thank you.
Hello and good evening. I can never tell. Okay, there we go. Thank you for the opportunity to bring to you the contract for the 2023 Van Buren Township Fireworks Show. We put out notice to receive bids in the amount of $25,000 for this event. In many cases, one would detail the work to be completed in a bid and let the bidder decide how much said work would cost. In this case, it's a little bit different. We've budgeted $25,000 for this show, and we allow the bidder to detail out to us how much bang for the buck we are going to get. So we have a lot of fun looking at these contracts. We received 4 bids from Great Lakes, American, Pyrotechnico, and Zambelli. After scrutinizing all of their proposals, I interviewed each company to ask them basic questions about their safety, their setup, cleanup, how they handle different situations. Putting together a fireworks show involves artistry as much as it does science and, of course, safety. There are many things to consider. Once I gathered all the information, I sat down with Director Locke, and the two of us went through each contract, all of the answers to the phone interviews, and scored each bidder. Our clear choice was to hire American Fireworks Company. They had a very thorough proposal, met all of the RFP requirements, and had a greater shot total of fireworks than the other bidders. American also had a better plan for handling inclement weather and took more responsibility in supervising their setup. And to give you an idea of the shot total from the different companies, so we look at more than just how many fireworks these companies are going to give us for that price. We look at what type of presentation they're going to give, what does this display going to look like, and also talking about their safety, okay? A lot of it, though comes down to, okay, you sound like you're going to put on a good show, but what does it come down to when we look at the numbers? Great Lakes was going to give us a total of 864 shots. Zambelli, 1,196. Pyrotechnico, 1,315. And American with 1,842. So we're clearly getting more bang for our buck. We would like to request that that you approve our contract with American Fireworks Company and for the clerk and supervisor to execute the contract.
Okay, any questions? What's the date?
It is June 24th with a rain date of the following day, so Saturday, Sunday.
Got it. Any other questions? Hearing none, we've got a motion by Clerk Wright and supported by Trustee Frazier. Hearing no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Move on to item number 3, which is discussion on to consider approval of PPM tree service for the Riggs Park. Can I get a motion? Clerk, Kelly?
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'd move to approve the selection of PPM Tree Service and Arbor Care LLC for the Riggs Park tree removal project for a total of $28,000.
Support.
Okay. Director, take it away.
Good evening, Board. Tonight we are seeking approval to hire PPM Tree Service and Arbor Care out of Westland, Michigan to remove a section of trees at the north end of Riggs Park. We had 11 bids submitted for this project. PPM was the low bid at $28,000. PPM has serviced many cities around here, including Canton Township, City of Westland. They service Washtenaw County Water Department, Wayne Westland Schools, and the Township of Ypsilanti. The trees that we're looking to remove are located all along Huron River Drive from Martinsville Road heading east to the edge of the park property. It is going to be every tree that is in this area between the road and the newly constructed Iron Bell Trail sidewalk path. The vast majority of these trees are either dead, dying, have several hazardous limbs, especially with the two storms that we recently had, which has caused more damage. Or there are also a lot of what we consider invasive tree species in this area. So not only do these trees provide a hazard to the road traffic, but now that we have this walking path there, we now have an extra hazard for pedestrian traffic. So um, Brian Dobbs is here from PPM. He's the president of PPM. If there's any questions for him or for myself, but again, we deem these trees, it's a pretty high priority, especially with this new walking path. The trees there, the condition is pretty bad, so.
Any questions?
Through the chair, I just would like to say that a couple days ago, I went in to town from Haggerty in the town, and I couldn't get over what the trees looked like, and I did place a call to Tammy, and I said, oh my gosh, what are we doing? She said, well, it's on the packet, we're gonna clean them up, and you are right, those trees are in bad shape.
Plus, another thing too, once these trees are removed, it does give a better visual look into the park and all the new features that are going on. They've just recently planted trees. We had an ecological burn a couple of weeks ago. So along with the hazard of it, it's a better aesthetic for the park.
And I've been watching them little green cones out there in that field.
Yeah.
The chair.
Treasurer,
You know, I'm a tree lover and, but our safety, our resident safety is a priority, so, and we want our township to look the best it can, so I support this.
I was driving down the road a couple months ago, and she's like, don't say it, don't say it. I'm tired of our parks being hidden, so nobody even sees them. Then we go and do all this landscaping, and we had that row of scraggly tree down through there. I am so happy that we're taking those things out. They're brush trees or garbage trees or falling apart. If you drive through there now, you'll know exactly what I mean. I mean, they're like a impenetrable wall right alongside of the road to the nice park. This is Director Locke. This is probably your first time up.
My
isn't it?
first time up here. This is
Yeah.
my baptism under fire.
Doing a wonderful job.
Let's grill them more.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? No? All right, I have no more questions. So I have a motion by Trustee Kelly. It's been supported by Treasurer Bud. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Reports, we have none. We are now on to public comment for non-agenda items. I believe we have John Herman.
Good evening, Board. I don't think I have to introduce myself. I'm John Herman, and I live on Greenwood Court here in Van Buren Township.
Your reputation precedes you.
As long as there's not a wanted poster in the post office. I'd like to, for the residents in Greenbrier subdivision, I'd like to give an update if they're watching. Today and yesterday, we started the project, well, it's been going on for a while, but we started marking off areas that are going to be under construction starting tomorrow. All the curbs, the driveway approaches, and all the cement work that has to be removed in order to continue on with the project of paving our streets have been marked. All the areas will be saw cut tomorrow. I was told rain or shine. Then on Thursday, they are going to remove all those sections and have open spaces until at least Monday when they attempt to start pouring cement again, weather permitting. We have doubled the linear feet of our curbing and cement work from the original project. The winter really did an item on our cement work this past winter. as well as the potholes are back after we filled them last fall. So we have our annual homeowners meeting coming up a week from tomorrow. And any resident that's interested, will give you up to date, right up until Wednesday evening at our annual homeowners meeting. So I hope a lot of our residents are aware of the homeowners meeting, as well as watching television today or YouTube about this board meeting. And I appreciate the moment to let our residents know. Thank you.
Does Greenbrier have a website?
No, we don't. Uh,
Do you have an email list?
They have our emails. All board members are listed in our annual report magazine that we put out quarterly. And if they have any questions, feel free to contact the board member. The men on the board are really up to date on what's going on, and this is a construction project, and it takes an effort to coordinate this. But we were supposed to have the final pre-construction meeting last Monday, but it extended into today.
We don't have a Facebook page, do we?
No, sorry.
I'd be happy to come over to your tutorial.
If anybody would like to get a hold of me, my email is John Herman, just like my name, no caps, at peoplepc.com.
Japowitz, John Herman at where?
peoplepc.com.
Okay, we're gonna see if we can help you.
Any questions
Just
from the
for
board?
the public out there, what he's doing is he's talking about taking about this much of your curb out, about 2 feet straight down of concrete, which means if you're parked in your driveway, you are not getting out for 4 or 5 days. Okay, so that's why I'm like, we gotta figure out how to notify these people. All right, okay.
On the same side of it, if you're involved, if your driveway is marked, be sure to be cut tomorrow or the next day
All right.
and removed. And park across the street or on the street where there's no curb cuts being done. So that way, all the cul-de-sacs, curbs will be replaced or repaired as well. So there's a lot of cement work that needs to be done prior to anything else. And then the second phase, after the cement is cured, we're gonna grade the roads down 1.5 inches, mill it down, and then look what the base looks like. And then the final phase will be repaving after the base has been repaired and set, et cetera, et cetera. Whole process is about 6 weeks, middle of May. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Mike? Name for the record, please.
Mike Monroe. I am the president of Greenbrier Homeowners Association. Back to John. ASI is going to communicate with the people who live in the houses before they do their curb work, so they're going to let them know.
Okay.
I warned the treasurer that I was going to come this evening. I would like to speak on our landfill that's in our township. I believe that since all of the work has moved to the center of the landfill and is going to work its way out from the north to the south, that Waste Management, Woodland Meadows, needs to consider moving the entrance to the landfill from the north side to the south side. I believe this would be advantageous to our community for a number of reasons. Number one, Van Born Road is a 2-lane road. The south, if an entrance was made to the south, which already exists because of the golf course that was abandoned, trucks would utilize E-Course Road, which is a 4-lane road, has turnarounds into the landfill, and direct access off of 275. Right now, if a truck wants to enter into the landfill, they get off on Michigan Avenue or on E-Course, and they got to travel south to Van Born Road or north to Van Born Road. To me, that doesn't make any sense when we have an access to the landfill right off of E-Course Road and limit the amount of time and traffic that is on our roads. I think this would be advantageous to all of us. A truck could get off 275 on E-Course and be in the landfill in a matter of seconds. And right now, we got trucks going everywhere in our community, and to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It made sense when the landfill operated from the north to the south, but now all of the operations are moving from north to the south, and we're going to work their way out that way anyways. Doing that means that the trucks go all the way inside of the landfill on dirt roads, kicking up the dust, picking up the mud, and when they come back out, goes everywhere in our roads. And if we just limit it to one road, I think it's advantageous to all of us. So I would like the board to prod, push, suggest, twist arms, and recommend that Woodland Meadows make their entrance off of E-Course Road. I think it makes sense. It makes practical sense. I know that there would be some negatives on their part. They would have to move their offices, they have to move their scales. I think that given the fact that the landfill is going to be in operation for at least another decade, well into the mid-30s, right?
30 years.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. Now's the time to do it, and I think it would benefit all of the residents of Van Buren Township. Thank you. That's my comment.
Makes sense, but I, just heard it, so it's not my business.
Sounds like a good idea. Thank you for bringing it forward.
Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak now? Mr. Selman?
No comment on our public participation link, Supervisor.
Anybody from the board that wishes to speak on any issue whatsoever?
Yeah, I got
Right.
a quick comment I'd like to make. I would like to see something, some type of program put together. I'm saying this in front of everyone that's present on the board and our directors. I'd like to see some kind of program put together that's gonna help clean the streets of Van Buren Township. The sideways and byways, there's too much trash on the sideways and byways of our township. And I'm hearing it from a lot, more than just me. A lot of people are complaining about this trash. I wanted to say something to the young lady that was sitting here with waste management, because some of that is caused by them moving and dumping at the same time. And I've witnessed that. So maybe we can talk to them about that going forward, because when they are picking up trash, I think they have a policy that they're not supposed to be moving while they take the gondola to the back. They're supposed to do that sitting still. And sometimes when they do that, trash falls out from the gondola to the side of the road. So I know that because I've witnessed that happening. But that's not all the trash on the side of the road. A lot of trash is from our residents. We need to put some type of program where we can not only educate our residents on keeping the community clean, but also maybe talk with the associations, HOAs, on how we can work together to clean this township up and keep it clean.
Director Lockett?
Chair, Clerk Wright, you're absolutely correct. Township is in bad shape. 34th District has committed to revamping the community service program. I'm working with them where we're gonna now attack an area of concern, like say, for instance, Belleville Road. I will contact 34th District, say I have a project, Belleville Road, between Tyler and E-Course, and I'll tell him at that point I need a 4-man crew for 8 hours. He'll give me the names. He'll dispatch them out there. He'll give them vests, all the equipment they need. They'll clean up the trash, bag it up, and then our building and ground folks will go scoop up the bags. So I realize that that is a concern with the garbage trucks, because I see them when they moving and dumping at the same time. We will bring that up to waste management to try and limit some of that. But some of it is, again, as Representative Miller said, come from Myers. So we spend a lot of time over there. So we're doing everything. So hopefully with the 34th District, we can get this thing back up and going and we won't see as much trash around the township as we've been seeing.
Yeah, I think for the supervisor, we have some communication with Myers. They are remodeling their store for a reason because it's very lucrative. And if they're gonna stay in the township, they need to be a good corporate partner also. So that's a conversation we need to have with them.
And we are having that conversation with them regularly. We also had a conversation with the board, and the board is allowing us to utilize some of our money we're starting to clean up some of the roads.
Yep.
We're coming down Belleville Road right now. We then had a meeting with the Downtown Development Authorities Board, and they have authorized us to use their streetscape money to utilize the same temps that we are utilizing to try and start. I don't think it's ever been done, every major road in the history of Van Buren. And so we're gonna try and hit every major road this summer, and at least for one time, get it all picked up and see what's there, because I mean, it's some old garbage in there.
Yeah, and to the chair, some of it is now that Wayne County is out doing a little bit of cutting, it's making the trash more pronounced now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Mr. Boynton, trustee, support by Clerk Wright. All, hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, oppose? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, we started about 2 weeks ago. We basically said the hell with the courts. Now the courts are coming up.
I was wondering what was going on with the courts.
Yeah.
They used to have a court.
Not for,
nice.
yeah.
My grandma went up for the Rosie
Riveters, I saw that, yeah.
No response?
Oh, how nice.
And so we had just gotten home.
Communicated with them.
3 half days
Yeah. I still got, I have one piece of posted on my desk from,
They said they have businesses for docs.
from the road while we were coming through the memorials, and we're like, okay, so we're not just out goofing around. And then we went, by the way, she's gonna miss school